Have a little bit of fun with some two-step. My mic's off?
It was off, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I had problems here.
Well, let's just try that again. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I am Gina from Gina K Designs, and now the microphone's on so I can say welcome to everybody coming in all around the world. So today we're going to have a lot of fun for those of you that struggle with two-step and three-step stamping and trying to figure out exactly where those images go, and adding into that equation, trying to die cut an image out that's a 2 or 3 step stamp. Sometimes that can be just maddening. Well, today I'm going to show you an easy way to do it. It's so easy, you're going to be like, why didn't I think of that? Well, I'm telling you what, when you see this, you're going to want to do it all the time. And the thing that's great about it is you can mass produce tons of these and then have all these little elements for cards later. But before we get started, Tom, turn your mic up. Let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Oh, boy.
How are you?
I'm a little better now.
What's going on over there? I heard music.
I thought I turned my phone down. Apparently I didn't, unless it just decided to turn itself back up, which I think happens, really.
I don't know. Technology today.
It's been a little bit of a crazy week. You know, we had, it's that time of year, and I found a wasp nest in one of the light fixtures in the yard.
Oh no.
Yeah, and so I found like a half a can of the spray to take care of them. And what I didn't realize until it was too late was that I had to turn the can sideways to spray up into the light fixture, and then it stopped working.
Oh no.
You can't do that.
So you didn't kill them, you just irritated them?
So after a few laps around the house, I found shelter, and yes, but it's been that kind of week. So luckily this didn't involve wasps or anything like that.
Just a microphone.
Just a microphone. So
no big deal.
So good after morning, evening, noon, everybody. Happy crafternoon.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what's going on with this today, but we're just going to deal with this. Hey, I got to tell you, I was in the ER this weekend.
Yes.
I got a blister on my eyeball. What is that?
Yes.
That was horrific. So I couldn't wear contacts for like 4 days. So I was supposed to be out enjoying the sun, and I couldn't put sunglasses on because I had my regular, oh, what a mess. But anyway, it has healed, thank God. And I'm back to my contacts and I can see again. I know, it's the weirdest thing, right? People are like, what? I have no idea. I went in and they go, I don't know. Could be something. Here's some drops. See if these help. But actually, they gave me the right thing and it did go away. So I'm very lucky. But yeah, it was painful.
You have very big eyes. So when something comes up, it's very big.
It got in. I think it was because we did a bike ride all over the city and it was dusty and still a little bit, I don't know, maybe something flew up and got in my eye. And that was my eye trying to push it out. But anyway, eyes are good. Readers are back on. I am ready to go. I am ready to make a card. So shall we get started? Let's do it. Okay, so the stamp set that I'm going to use today is this cute little flowers and wings. And where's my remote? Did you take my remote? Oh, no, here it is. I want to zoom in just a little bit on this one. So this stamp set is so cute. And it is our incentive set right now. So this one is free with any $75 purchase. And I know tons of you already have this one. But what I wanted to tell you about is the dies that you can purchase that coordinate with it are actually the full image, right? So you've got this full image of a dragonfly, but on here, like, where is that image? Well, it's a combination of things. You've got to stamp this, you've got to stamp this, and you've got to stamp this. And you have to stamp them in the right spot, or else it's not going to cut out right, right? If you stamp this and these wings are too low or these wings are too high or whatever, it's not going to fit. So today I'm going to show you how to use stamps like this to create beautiful little images and make them perfectly centered. And it's a piece of cake. So you will need a stamping platform, and I am using my Misty for this. So we are going to start there. It really is the best way to make this kind of thing work. So what I have here is a piece of white cardstock. You can use any color cardstock for this. It doesn't have to be white. I just happen to have a piece sitting here, so I stuck it in my Misty. Now, what you're going to do here is you're going to stamp all three of these images that end up going onto this little dragonfly die. But you're going to stamp them separately, okay? So we're going to stamp the center image here. We're going to stamp, let's stamp the top wings here. And we'll stamp the bottom wings here. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to stamp them, and then we're not going to take them off the Misty. So once we get them in place, that's where they're going to stay on the Misty. Now, you might be wondering, how is this ever going to work? But I'm telling you, it's so easy. So now I'm going to ink this up. I'm going to use black because I can see black really well. So I'm going to ink these up with black. It's not going to be the colors that I'm going to use for my ultimate design. And if you want to stamp it a little darker so that it's solid, remember, these are new stamps. So I'm going to stamp them a couple times just to get them nice and dark so I can see them really well. Okay.
The name of that die set?
This die set is called Flowers and Wings, and it coordinates with the incentive set. This is our free incentive set for the month. So you get this one free with any $75 or more purchase. On July 18th, when our new release comes out, this will be available for purchase. Okay. Now, I'm going to clean these stamps, but I'm not going to move them off of my Misty. Okay. All right. Well, you can die cut first and then try to line it up with your stamping block. You definitely can do that. But if you want them dead center perfect and you want to mass produce them and you want all the white edges to be perfect, this is the way to do it. So now what I've done is I have taken this die and I've cut 3 little dragonflies out of this die using a different color cardstock than the white. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to place this so that that is perfectly centered. I can't even begin to tell you how hard this image is to stamp on a die cut piece with an acrylic block. I'm telling you, it makes it really difficult for me. Now, not everybody. Some people are really good at that, but I am not good at that. So I just have a little Scotch tape here. I'm going to tape these down because I am running out of washi tape. So I'm just going to tape this down, keep it in place here. And now you can see that outline is just perfect. Now for this one, I'm going to line it up so that the wings are perfect on this one. Okay. And this is a really easy way to mass produce too. And I love these kinds of tips and tricks for mass production. Okay, so that's looking pretty good, right? I want to look straight down on it, so excuse my head. I had to get my head in the way. So that looks pretty good there. So I'm going to tape that down where I want it. I'm not even worried about taping over this. Now this one, I'm going to line this one up exactly where I want it, and I'm going to tape it down. So you can see now you're still stumped? Okay, you'll see. Just keep watching. So now I have that image in the right spot. And again, you can see I've got all of these images so that they're perfectly centered. That white is perfectly centered along the outside. And that's what you want to do. I'm just going to trim this piece down a little bit. So I'm just taping this into place so it doesn't move. Okay. So now I've got my 3 areas framed out. Remember, these are still in the same spot, right? Okay. Now, you want to die cut some blanks. So I use this die to cut out a few blank dragonflies. And now I'm going to put the dragonfly in the first one. And I'm going to stamp that one. Let's pick some colors first before we go any further. So I'm going to bring these into the scene here. These are all my ink cubes. Everybody always asks me where I got this tray. And I got this tray at a store called organizemore.com. Organize More. And they're great. They've got all kinds of organizing things. Okay, so I'm going to use black onyx for the center. And then I think I'm going to do some bright colors. So maybe I'll do turquoise sea and tranquil teal. I'll use some passionate pink. I love wild wisteria. I think I'll do jelly bean green and maybe a little fresh asparagus. Okay. Let's see what else. I'll stop there. I'm just going to use those colors for now. They're pretty bright. Also, if I do the bumblebee, I'm definitely going to use wild dandelion. Okay, so now we're going to start, and we've got this little die cut piece in here, and we're going to start with the body. So I'm going to stamp the body in black onyx because I want the body to be black onyx. Okay, so did that work? Yeah, that looks pretty close. Now I'm going to slip him in here. Probably should have pushed him down a little bit. I don't think he was perfect, but we'll try it again. Okay, now I'm going to pick another color for the wings. So I think I'll do the top wings in passionate pink. I might have to do more than one coat of passionate pink. Let's try 2 coats. And then I'm going to use some tranquil teal down here on the bottom ones. See how this looks. Do another one of those. Okay. And so now we've got our little dragonfly. Now I want to show you, I did one earlier, and on this one, then I stamped the little extra pieces just with an acrylic block. So that's a little different, and I'll show you that. That, you're kind of just eyeballing that. But you know, the thing is that it's easier to eyeball something that's inside than right up against an edge. So let's try this again. I want to make sure that these are stamping in the right spot, because I think what I did wrong here is I think this paper slipped a little bit. So we'll just line them up one more time, and we will just replace them. Easy enough to do. I used Scotch tape, but if you use washi tape, it's super easy to just pull these off. and then reuse them. You can reuse these over and over again. The thing is, though, that you have to create the template new each time, because where it stamps is going to be different each time. It's hard to line them up. You can lay the stamp over this if you want, but I still don't think it's as perfect as if you just line them up. What are you going to say, Tom? I'm sorry.
Question from Brenda. Do you ever store your ink pads upside down to keep from drying out?
I do not. I never store our ink upside down. It's really not necessary to store our ink upside down. I think more with foam pads that might be helpful, because foam pads use a lot more re-inker and they tend to dry out a lot more quickly than the felt pads or the linen pads. So I do know that some companies recommend that, but I don't. I have not had that problem with anything drying out. But if you want to, I'm not saying you can't do it, but if you want to do it, you can do it. But if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. Now, I wanted to try those colors too to see if I like them, but I'm going to just make this one more time, but I'm going to be smarter this time. I'm going to take a little bit of tape and I'm going to tape this down. Sometimes the magnet isn't enough. And I really need to get some washi tape for this, but that's good. Okay, so we'll ink these up. I do think my ink cubes might be a little juicy because they're brand new. And if your ink cubes or your ink pads are a little too juicy, all you have to do is just squish them down, like squish them out onto a paper towel to get rid of a little bit of the ink. They are very inky. Our ink is very inky. You get a lot of ink in there. Okay, I think that's good. There we go. Now, I'm going to lay these back down here again. Make sure they look right. Maybe I'll use pixie tape. I have some pixie tape here. Use a little bit of pixie tape for it. Now, I want to make... I wasn't thrilled with the colors that I chose, so I think I'm going to go just a little lighter, brighter. I like the brightness of it, but I want it to be a little bit lighter. So I'm thinking Turquoise Sea is better, Jelly Bean Green. Those colors are a little bit better for me. Hello and welcome, everyone. It's great to see you all coming in. Okay. And you can spread them out a little bit more on your paper too, if you want, so that you're not kind of going up over the last one like I am here, but it's okay. It'll still work. That looks good. So you can see I'm just, if you just tuned in, all I'm doing is I'm remaking my little template because my cardstock shifted. I don't think it was in the spot that it was supposed to be in. And then when I checked it to make sure it was straight, then it was off. So there we go. Okay. And my last one, I'm just reusing these same templates that I made earlier. And you can do this with regular stamps too. So if you have, you know, just a regular stamp that you're trying to mass produce, like I find that it's not too difficult to do one-offs. But if I'm making Christmas cards and I want to stamp 40 poinsettias, it's easier for me to make a template like this and just stamp the parts of that layered poinsettia, or even just to stamp the poinsettias and make sure that they're right in the spot where they're supposed to be. Okay, so we'll ink this up with black onyx first. There we go. See, it didn't move that time, so you can see it's perfectly centered now. And if you don't like it, you should be able to stamp it again just by popping it in there. I always hold my breath on the second stamping. There we go. So now it's nice and dark. And if you have trouble getting these out, you can always just use your pick tool and then just pop it into the next one. So this one, let's go with that, that Turquoise Sea and Jelly Bean Green. So Turquoise Sea for the top wings, because I think you'll be able to see the black ink on there a lot better. So we'll do one coat. And then, you know, if you're worried about it, just kind of knock it off like that. Remember, our ink dries like almost instantly. So you see I'm touching it and it's not smearing. Okay. There we go. Okay, now we got Turquoise Sea on there, and we'll pop it in the third template. And we'll add some Jelly Bean Green. And I'm not worried about cleaning the stamps in between. I don't care if it messes up my template. I really don't. Ooh, that's so cute. I'm going to do another coat of Jelly Bean. Yeah, I like this color. I like that color combo. So you can see now without the cardstock shifting how perfect it is. So I think that that's a really easy way to create perfectly centered die cut pieces, especially when you're doing the 3-step stamping. A lot of people were asking about how to use this particular stamp in the group. So I thought I would share it here in this video. So let's make another one. Let's do the same colors for this next one. And then let's try the bee. I want to make the bee too. And I want to make a flower. What do you think of this little stamp set, Tom? Isn't it cute?
Very fun.
It's a little different than the vintage cards I've been making lately. I've been making a lot of vintage cards and everything's been so rustic, and I wanted to do something just a little bright and simple today.
I'd want to use those real bright colors.
Like the neons?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That would be really good too. The neons would be awesome. So is everybody getting this now? And then we'll try to line up, well, we'll try to add those little decorations and see how it goes. Those I have to do with the block though. I mean, you don't have to. You can set it up, but then you have to set up the other side. There's only one stamp that you use for both sides. So it's not like it's 2 stamps. Okay, so now we've got 2 of these. You can see this one's a little drier, so it's smoothed out a little bit more. And we've got 2 of these. I think we need to make 3, actually. I'm going to cut a couple more. I got to cut some of the other images too. So I'm going to put this aside here for a sec. And then I'm going to get my die cutting machine and I'm going to cut a bunch of blanks. So these are the kinds of things that are really fun to do, or I shouldn't say they're actually like fun, like, oh, this is exactly what I've been wanting to make. But they're, it's a good activity to do when you don't have mojo and you're not sure what you want to make. Just cut out a bunch of blanks so that it makes it easy to stamp.
So Ginger said, couldn't you stamp all 3 colors at once and rotate the blanks?
Yes, you definitely can do that. Absolutely, you can do that. It's a great idea. Woo! I had to think about it for a minute. I'm slow. You see, I'm slow today, Tom. I don't know what it is. It's like we were away for a couple days and now I don't know what I'm doing. So you can see I'm just cutting out a bunch of these and I'm going to do just a few here because if something doesn't go right, you want to be able to just, you know, grab another one. You don't want to have to stop and die cut again. And then I think I'm going to do a little window design, but like a different window design than the window designs we've been doing. I think I want to do something with circles. Yeah, this is kind of fun, huh? Okay, Let's see if we can get these out quickly. I don't have to be that quick. Now the flowers are not even. So like when we did the flowers, we just kind of moved them around on the artboard, the petals. So they're not exactly perfectly even. So you do have to kind of twist the flower around to get it into the right spot. Which, my bad, but I did want it to be more whimsical. But that's another reason why doing these templates is really good, because sometimes it's hard to line it up with a block. And once you have the right position, then it makes it really easy because you just have to fit the flower into the puzzle piece. So I think it's kind of easy to see. I can't even see it here. I said that like I knew what I was talking about. It is kind of easy to see, though. There's one that has two together. So if you find that one, they'll all line up the same. This is the same. There's one that's like two little ones together. So they should be easy. They don't go down as far. They don't have as deep of a V between them. All right, we'll put these together. I'm just putting them in order. These I don't have to worry about because I can see what those are. Now I'm going to make my little templates for my bee. And then this is what you have to look at. How many steps is the bee? Where'd the stamp set go? So the bee is, let's look at it together here. The bee is 1, 2, 3. Okay, same thing, 3 steps. So 4. This one, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I think, yeah, this should be good. Okay, 4. So we need 4 little bees. Got to cut out 4 little bees. And yeah, you definitely can rotate them. That's for sure. So we'll cut out 4 bees. And then we'll cut out a flower. And I want to show you something else that's fun. If something doesn't have 2 steps, there's another thing that you can do that's kind of fun. You can make it feel like it's got more steps. We can do these leaves together like that on one template. And then we'll do a bee here. And I need one more piece. Should I use a different color? I just happen to have some Plum Punch here. I'll use that. Now, for those of you that aren't picky and you don't care, this might seem like, oh, why are you doing all that? But I'm a little bit picky. So I kind of like my die cuts to be as centered as possible. Some of you may not feel that way, and you may feel like, you know, this is too much work. And if that's the case, more power to you. I mean, if you're going with the it's better than horrible plan, that works too, right, Tom?
That's all it has to be.
Is better than horrible.
Question on how thick is the purple paper?
This is our 100-pound cardstock, but you can use thinner paper than that. It's really just a matter of creating something that the die cut piece can fit into. So you don't have to worry if it's, you know, a little bit thinner. I would say, though, don't use something like copy paper because that's going to be tough because you want to use something that's a little more sturdy. So an 80-pound cardstock will work great. You're right, Tom. Your phone does not shut off, even when you shut it off. I don't get it. Yeah. Use something a little bit more sturdy than copy paper because copy paper, you know, you could put your die cut piece in there and it's just kind of flimsy and it'll flap around a little bit. So something a little bit more sturdy. 80-pound and up is great. Well, even 65-pound would work if that's all you have. And if you're trying to use up some cheaper paper, it's a great way to use up cheaper paper. Stuff that maybe didn't quite cut it as a cardstock for a card. All right, so I've got all of my templates now. So let's do one more dragonfly, and then we'll move on to the bee. I've got my dragonfly all set up here. I'm going to stamp one more of these. I don't know how many I'm going to use, but I just want to have them if I need them because I don't know what the layout's going to look like. Tom's phone does have gremlins. But what's really funny is if I text him or I call him, for some reason the phone doesn't work. What do you think that's all about, Tom?
Something wrong with my microphone all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Something wrong with my microphone.
Oh my goodness. So do you have a word of the day?
I do have a word of the day. You ready for the word of the day?
I think so. I think it's a perfect time while I'm finishing up this dragonfly. And if you tuned in late, I'm going to be doing this whole thing again for the bee, so you'll be able to see exactly how I positioned everything. But yes, definitely.
Okay. So let's see, if you have to make it through the day without the rush you get from playing in your craft space, you would say that that day is decraftinated. You're having a decraftinated day. You need that rush to get through.
That's right. Craftine. I need craftine.
Craftine. Decraftinated.
That's a good word. I like it. All right, I've got my 3 little dragonflies done. Now let's move on to our next area. And you know, you don't even have to take these off if you don't want to, because maybe you're thinking, oh, I want to do more later. Just leave it all set up. We can work down here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make some bees. So I've got the little antennas here for the bee. Then I've got the little bee body down here. And I've got the little stripes and then the little solid. So I think I'm going to make the stripes black and the body yellow, because otherwise you're not going to be able to see it. So you got to make the body yellow, if that makes sense. This is like the body here, and these are the little stripes. So hopefully this will work. We'll see. Okay, so I've picked all those up, and now I'm going to stamp those 4. Get those on there. Stamp them one more time. These are brand new. I have never stamped the bee yet. I just get like right into the kits when we release kits, and sometimes I forget how cute these incentives are and how many things you can make with them. And if you're looking for this stamp set on our website, it's not available for sale. It is available as an incentive set this month, but just our next release is coming up on January. Whew, I don't want to think about January. July 18th. So this one then will go into our regular inventory. So let's get the little wings where we want them. There we go. That looks pretty good. And we'll tape those down. It is a really cute little bee. And we got to add the little accents onto the dragonflies too. I don't know exactly how I'm going to make this card yet, but I want to do this little window thing. So we'll see how it goes. Cut this down. Get that in there. All we have to do are the antennas on that one. I did stamp them close, but that's all right. It's okay if it overlaps a little bit. I could have trimmed that one down, but I think it'll still work. Okay. And then we get the body in the center there. Now this is a little tricky because you want to kind of line the body up so that it's straight. I'm going to trim this off here so that it's straight and it looks like the antennas are straight. So when you line this part up, make sure that these two pieces look lined up properly, because that one's easy to not line up well if you're not looking in the right spot. I think that looks good.
Name of that stamp set?
The stamp set is called Flowers and Wings. It is awfully cute, isn't it? And then we'll do the same thing here. We'll try to line that up in the middle. And we'll see what it looks like. Might be a little off, but I think it'll be pretty close. I know that just shifted. Just trying to make it look like it's in the center. It might be easier just to stamp this part on. But let's give it a try and see what happens. I've got a couple cut out here, so. Okay, we're going to start by popping the bee in and getting the antennas stamped. Right there. With a little bit of black onyx. I should use that ink cube. Oh, perfect. See how perfect that is? I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see this better. See how perfect that's stamped? You can stamp it again if you want it a little darker. Okay, then we're going to move it down. I'm going to do the wings black as well. Okay, wings. Here we go. Looks pretty good. It's such a cute little bee. Then I'm going to do the yellow part first here. So I'm using wild dandelion for this part. I'll do a couple coats of that. Little Build-A-Bee. And then we're going to add our little stripes. Our little bee stripes. Hopefully this is going to look good. Ah, it does. Look how cute it is. Very cute. Okay, so now we have our little bee to go with our dragonfly. Now let's do, because I'm probably only going to use one of each if I'm going to do flowers too. So let's do the smaller of the two flowers. So I'm going to do those down here. Let's find that. I'm going to do the smaller of the two flowers. That's this one. And then I'm going to do both leaves right here. Here and here. Now the flowers don't have, well, they do have 2 steps. So you can do the 2 steps that way, but the center is the second step. And I think that might be kind of easy to nail. And the leaves only have 1 step. There isn't a 2-step leaf. So you can make it a 2-step leaf though, and I'll show you how. So I'm going to do these in black again. I just feel like I can really see the outlines in black. So there's a couple of ways to do the leaves, and I'll show you. So that looks pretty good. Now we're going to figure out how this, there we go. We got the spot. There's the spot by just turning it. We found the right spot, I believe. And so I'm going to just trim this off the end here and get that in place. Now, once you get all of these in place, does that look right? Let me just turn it a little more. Ooh, that looks better. Actually, I'm going to keep turning it until it's like undeniable. That is not it. Glad I have music to do this too. There it is. And that's the undeniable spot. It looks okay in one place and perfect in the other spot. So you can see I'm not rushing. I'm not getting frustrated. I'm just continuing to turn it until it looks good. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I can't see this. What's wrong with me? You're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. It just takes a little while to find the exact spot. And so if you're doing this the old-fashioned way where you're just going to stamp the flower and cut it out, take your time also there as well, because, you know, it's not necessarily easy to catch on the exact first time. I thought I caught it on the first time, but it was wrong. Okay, so one way to do kind of a two-tone look on this leaf is, we're going to do it this way first, and then I'll show you the other way. So now we're going to pop this into place. So I'm just looking for this part right here that's going to pop right in there. Now, what color should I make these flowers? I feel like pink, like a hot pink would be really good. So I think I'll do passionate pink. So let's do some passionate pink on this one. Ooh, that's bright. I could do some of the neons too, Tom. I didn't even think about the neons for this set. How perfect are those? The Electropop inks. If you have those, you know how beautiful and bright they are. Look how perfectly centered that is. That makes me so happy. That's pretty good coverage too. Yeah, passionate pink is a beautiful color. The orchids would look great too, and the carnations would look great. Okay, so we're going to let that dry, because as that dries, it's going to dry up to a little bit lighter. And then we're going to do this first leaf one way. I'll show you one way to do it. So you can pop this in, and you can start with a lighter color. So we'll start with Jelly Bean. Get my Jelly Bean. Let me close this black ink pad that I keep almost putting my hand in. So you can start with Jelly Bean. Get some Jelly Bean on there, maybe 2 coats. And then you can go around the outside with some fresh asparagus, just by doing that little bit of rock and roll technique. So you can kind of go around like that. You don't have to do the whole thing. Just give it a little bit of darker color around the outside. You see how that just gives it a little bit of shading in there? So that's kind of the shaded style. Now, the other way that you can do two-step stamping with this, if you want, is you can put this in and start with Jelly Bean. So I am going to clean that stamp because I did put 2 different colors on it. Normally, you don't have to clean it if you're just using one. But we're going to start with Jelly Bean.
So many questions about the release. When is the next release? Will there be a new bundle or kit at the July release?
There will be a bundle, and it's coming July 18th.
New inks in this release?
No new inks in this release. Okay, so now you can take this out, and you can move this.
Yvonne, go get your insulin.
For this one.
Vaughn needs an insulin break.
Oh, me too. Okay, and then you can pop this in here, and then you can do the darker color, the fresh asparagus, on the smaller leaf and kind of create a two-tone look that way, like that. Now, my favorite look is this. I have to admit, I really like this look. So I'm going to do another one like this. I'm going to do the small one like that too. So we're going to put this back, but I just wanted to show you that you could do that if you wanted to do that. So this is going to go back here. This is my favorite way to stamp die cut pieces because I love how perfect they are, perfectly centered. And then we'll get this tiny one. We'll put this here. Now we can do these at the same time. Yvonne, take a shot of insulin for me. Actually, I have the opposite problem sometimes when I'm live. My blood sugar gets a little low. So I have my trusty cranberry juice, always right here, ready to give me a shot of sugar. Okay, so I'm dropping these both in. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead with the jelly bean green first on both of these leaves. So if you wanted to, you could actually do all of these at the same time if you wanted to really make a bunch at once. You just have to ink up all the different parts and know what you're inking. But for me, again, you know, crafting is supposed to be relaxing. So there's no rush to do this quickly. So I'm going to just add that little bit of fresh asparagus now. And stamp. There we go. Love that. Love that shading on there. So I have 3 leaves. I think that's probably going to be enough if I'm only going to have 1 flower.
That is awesome.
Isn't that fun? Do another leaf over here. Okay. Now, if you want, you can also add a little bit of shading to this flower. So you can pop this flower back into that spot. And you can do another rock and roll with a different color pink or maybe a little bit of red. So if you wanted to use red, we could also use Plum Punch. Do I have a Plum Punch ink cube? Yes, I do. So we could add a little Plum Punch around the outside just by kind of going right around the edges. I'm going to wipe that off because I don't like the way that looks. But let's do it again. So a little bit of Plum Punch. There we go. There we go. Okay. And we'll add that to the edges. Can you see that? A little bit of edging around that gives it a little depth. You could do that to the wings. You could do that to the bee. You could make the bee's wings in gray and add a little bit of black around the outside. And so this template, this is all set up. I could do this all day long. I could make tons in all different colors because all my stamps are set up on there and ready to go. Okay, so let's add some details in here and then see what kind of little layout we can come up with. Just a little sweet layout. Let's find the rest of these stamps. Okay, I'm going to get this here so I can see a little better. I always can see this color a little better. So we're going to add a little center into this flower here, and we'll do that in black. Now, if you're scared, you can set it up so that, I mean, maybe I will. Maybe I am scared. I am scared. I have my old Misty here. Maybe I'll just set it up in my old Misty. Or you don't even have to do that. What you can do is after you've stamped all your flowers and you're done with the flowers, then you can center this onto your die cut piece here, like that. Make sure it looks like where you want it to stamp. It won't let go. That's when I have to use this, a little bit of this powder from my embossing magic pad so that I can place my stamp and it won't stick to me. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to go with that. And I'll pick that up. Now, if you want to test it first, you can test it on a sample flower just to make sure it looks like it's in the center. Let's do that first. That looks pretty centered to me. We could save that one and do it again. Do the outside later. Okay, so now we're gonna add the center onto this flower. And I'm doing it in black because I'm gonna have a lot of black. And I think I'm gonna put like a little metallic pearl in the center there to kind of give it a little bit more dimension. Okay, so there's my flower. Now with the other images, I'm just going to freehand it because these are so tiny. You've got this tiny little thing right here, and then you've got this tiny little dot. So I'm going to get my acrylic block. I have a little acrylic block here. And I've got 3 of them. So if I mess up, I get more opportunities, right? And I think I'm going to do it where I do this on the bottoms and then the dot on the top. So wish me luck here. Here we go. I'm going to just throw that one in there like that. Oops. Can I fix that? Maybe not. Oh yeah, that looks good. I don't know how that happened. That was dumb luck that I nailed that the second time. That usually does not happen. Okay, so there. Now we've added that little detail on the bottom. Everybody's holding their breath. I'm holding mine too, but I'm just praising the Lord that I made 3 of them just in case. Okay, and now the little dot. So the little dot should be easier to see. That doesn't mean it will be. It should be. All right, so we'll just do a dot there. And a dot there. Oops. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good. It does make a big difference. Those little details really add so much. So now we've got a dragonfly, we've got a bee, and we've got a flower with some leaves. I still think this leaf might be a little big, but I think it'll be okay. So now let's make a little card front. So I'm going to get a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to trim it down. I think I'm going to die cut it. No, I'll trim it down. I'm going to trim it down to 3 3/4 inch by 5 inches. I think that'll be a good size because what I was thinking of doing is making 3 little windows. And I got these dies out from Master Layouts 3. So I was thinking if I did like a window here, and then a window here, and then another window down here, I could kind of position these in the windows and then do some little clouds. So let's see if I can make it happen. Now, the way I'm going to cut these out is I'm going to cut them out first with white. And I'm going to cut them with the larger of the 2 dies. Let me back out a bit. The larger of the 2 dies. So I'm going to start right up here at the top. And I'm going to make one window up here. I think that'll be good.
So you usually don't do dies for the incentive sets, do you?
We have done dies the last 2 incentive sets. Just because so many people ask for them, they just like the idea of having dies that match the incentive. So we thought we would give it a try, and it's been good. People have liked it. Then I'm going to put one here. Hope there's enough room. We'll see. If not, I'm going to scrap my whole idea. Okay. And then, is there room? There is. It's tight, but there's room. Ooh, is that tight?
I was going to say that never happened before.
That I just made it?
That you scrapped an idea.
Oh my gosh, my trash can's full of the scraps. Okay. I could have moved these 2 over, but this is how you learn, you know? You look at this and you go, okay, well, yeah. Now I've got it too close over here. I could have moved these 2 over, but it's going to be better than horrible. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to get a piece of black cardstock. I know, shocker. Let me find a piece of black. Am I out of black? Don't even joke about that. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it off to the side here for a sec because I don't have a lot of room. And I'm cutting this one, just so you know, I'm cutting this one to 5 1/8 of an inch by 3 7/8 of an inch. Now, if you don't want to hand cut these, you could cut them with Master Layouts 1. Master Layouts 1 would be the right one. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to be brave. And I think I'm going to try to cut out the center here. Ooh. Let me glue it together first. No, I don't want to glue it together. I don't want it permanently glued together. So I'm going to use some pixie tape for this. Here's my thought process. Doesn't always work out, but here's my thought process. I'm going to try to just lightly tape this together just so that it stays in place. See, I have my border where I want it. Does this make sense? I know there's probably an easier way to do this, but I'm going to do it the hard way. Because I want clouds underneath there. All right, so I'm going to pop that in there and hope for the best. This is so the first one that I cut out was the plain one. Now this is the stitched one that I'm cutting out now. This is all from Master Layouts 3. And you'll get what I'm doing here in a sec. I'm hoping for the best. I want to create a border. But I want to create an inside border, so did it work? It kind of worked. See, I got a little inside border there. Kind of worked. Let me cut them all out, and then I'll see if I can shimmy them a little bit. Probably not, but we'll give this another try. Maybe it'll be cute and wonky. And then I can say to people, yeah, I was going for a wonky look. And only you guys will know. Okay, it's a little wonky. And then one more right here. If I cut them all the same way, maybe they'll wonk out the same way. And then I'll be able to shift them. I think they did. So let's see if I can gently tear this pixie tape off. Gently. Same with this one. Sometimes I use pixie tape and you know, it works really, really well. You can see it's not tearing anything, but then sometimes I say, why didn't I just try using Masking Magic? All right, that's going to look pretty good like that. So can you see my black outlines there? I wanted the little black outlines. And it's a little wonky, but it's not bad. So now, I know this card has a lot of steps for being a tiny little quick and easy card. So let's get this glued together first. And we're going to place that so that it looks pretty good. I always like to kind of go over my edges a little bit with my finger to smooth things out. And this was hand cut, so because that was a lot of layers that I put that through. And I could have done them separately as just little rings and then just positioned them behind there, which would probably have been the easier way to do it, but it would have taken more time today. So let me get my tape. Put a little tape on here. There we go. This is actually a super fun card to make. Okay, get my rings looking kind of good. I'm going to get my rings looking good and then just trim anything that doesn't look... It's not bad. It's not bad. It's better than horrible. It's better than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so now I've got my little windows, right? Now let's pick a card base color. And I'm thinking for this, I might like... what do you guys think? Pink? Yellow? Should we play off the bee to get that bee popping a little bit? Maybe a yellow. Pay no mind to the holes. Don't look at the holes. But I think the yellow might be really bright and fun. Okay, I'm going to go with yellow. I'm going with yellow. I got to cut this on the floor because there's no room left up here at all. And then I will use my score buddy. Now we're not done. We're not done with the holes because we got to make little skies in the background there. Okay, so we've got our card base here. Now I need to find my stencil. I know what's in here. So we're going to go with the Sea, Sun, and Sky stencil. And I know it's sold out and a lot of you still want it, but we have a lot more on order because this is just one of those really popular stencils that a lot of people really loved. We're on our third reorder of this one. And now I'm going to use some ocean mist or sea glass. I think I'll use a little sea glass. Sea glass is a great color for matching with that turquoise sea. And now we're going to do a little clouds in the background. And these are the three circles that came out of these three when I cut them. Okay. So I got them taped down. We're just going to create a little bit of sky in there. Love this stencil. It's so fun. And then for down here, maybe I'll do just a little more right there. And then you can kind of fill it in around the outside. Okay, I'm going to do that 3 times. Can you guys see that okay? Is it too bright? Hopefully you guys can see. And remember, I'm going to take some good high quality photos of this. A little more over here. Sounds like a woodpecker, doesn't it? We're going to wrap this up pretty quick now. And the last one. Okay. So quiet. Are you watching, Tom?
I am.
Are you mesmerized by the clouds? Okay, now let's get it together. So we're going to put this on top here, but we need to put these little cloud things behind. So we're just going to tape them, a little bit of tape, and we're going to put them where we want them. And then we're going to lay it down where we think we'll probably have that. Looks pretty good. I've got a little room to move around, not a lot. I'm going to move it a little bit. See, I want to pop this up. That's what my goal is here. I want to pop it up. So I got to kind of look at where I'm laying it. And I can't push them through. So that looks pretty good. Right about there. There. Okay. And I can move them still if I have to. It does. I know. Every morning you're going to hear a woodpecker and you're going to be like, is Gina ink blending? Is she somewhere in my house ink blending? Okay. And these are just a little bit bigger than the holes are now because we've got that little black layer. I really like this card. I think I'm doing it upside down, but I think I had it going the other way. But we'll put the greeting wherever the greeting fits. Okay, there we go. So now if I pop this up, I could pop it up, you see, and you would still see that. Yeah, I might do that, or I might lay it right on there, and then all that work was for nothing. I think maybe I will lay it right down on there. I'm going to do that. I'm going to lay it right down on there. It probably, if I was going to pop it up, I probably should have just done a whole panel, which would have been easier to do a whole panel of background, but that's all right. We didn't waste the cardstock, so I feel pretty good about the move. All right, there we go. So now I've got my 3 little windows, and now I will pop up these little guys like here. Maybe have this one over here. And then maybe do this little flower right here. Like this. This leaf is too big, but not bad. And then I'll pop my greeting. I think I'll just use one of my little strip sentiments. Maybe a little thank you greeting in here like that. Maybe a bigger greeting. Let's see. All I have left, ooh, this is a good size greeting. So very grateful. And you could put more flowers in different spots if you want. But I kind of like, I just feel like that leaf is too big. So I might change that. I think I'm going to change the leaf. You know how I'm going to do it? I got it all right here. See, remember I cut extras? If you cut extras, you're always ready. You're always ready. I'm going to pop it in. Jelly bean. One more layer. I feel like it needs the small leaf. I feel like the big leaf is better for the big flower. I think you'll agree. And if not, maybe it didn't bother you as much as it bothers me, but I don't know. There we go. That's a better leaf. Had to do it. Okay, so now we're just going to pop these up using some foam squares. I've got my new ThermoWet foam squares here. I'm going to cut a little strip of them. These are the tiny ones, but I'm still going to cut it down. So I can do that with one little square. We can do that right in front of this window here, going that way. Did I not take the paper off? I did not. Oh, that's so cute. And then this little guy flying over this way. Put his little wing outside of one circle there. And then we'll do the flower. We'll do 2 squares on that. So we want the flower here. Let's do the flower there. And we'll just tape these leaves underneath. Where do we want the leaves? The leaves here, here on this side maybe, and there. And one down here. See, the little leaves work so much better. And then this, we'll just tape it right in here. There we go. Okay, so there's the card. Now we could have wood grained back here. We could add some rhinestones. I was going to add a little pearl on there, so I think I'll do that. And then Tom, we should give this card away.
Well, okay.
Let's add a pearl. I could add a color. I've got all these pearls over here in different colors. I think a yellow to go with the bee and the card base would be a good. Is that a bad yellow though? Does that yellow not match? Pick a different color. We'll do
Drum roll, please.
pink.
Here we go. Okay, the winner of this beautiful card is Holly Paplow. Holly!
Yay, Holly! Congratulations! Congratulations, Holly! All right, everybody. Holly, all you have to do is send your name and address to info@ginakdesigns.com, and I will get this card out to you. All right, everybody. Well, this was really fun to make. I'll take a good high-quality picture so you can see those clouds a little bit better. It might be a little bright here. Super fun card to make. You can add a lot more images in there. Remember, this one wasn't so much about the card as it was about the technique and getting those different steps in the right spots on the die cut. So I hope you were able to take something from that today. All right, well, the weekend is almost upon us. This week just flew by with that holiday in there. And I will be back tomorrow, right, Friday, with another 5-minute card video. And then Tom and I will be back at our regular time next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, with another Stampin' Chat Live. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We love you all so very much. Stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.